Deuteronomy 23. A eunuch, one whose testicles have been debilitated or cut off, or whose penis has been cut off, shall not enter into the church of the Lord. The offspring of a harlot, that is, one born of a prostitute, shall not enter into the church of the Lord, until the 10th generation. The Ammonite and the Moabite, even after the 10th generation, shall not enter into the church of the Lord forever. Because they were not willing to meet you with bread and water along the way, when you had departed from Egypt, and because they hired against you Balaam, the son of Beor, from Mesopotamia in Syria, in order to curse you. But the Lord your God was not willing to listen to Balaam, and he turned his cursing into your blessing, because he loves you. You shall not make peace with them, nor shall you seek their prosperity, throughout all the days of your life forever. You shall not abhor anyone from Idumea, for he is your brother, nor the Egyptian, for you are a new arrival in his land. Those who have been born of them, in the 3rd generation, shall enter into the church of the Lord. When you have gone out to war against your enemies, you shall keep yourself from everything that is evil. If there is a man among you who has been defiled by a dream in the night, he shall depart from the camp. And he shall not return before the evening, after he has washed with water, and then, after the sun sets, he shall return to the camp. You shall have a place beyond the camp to which you may go for the necessities of nature, carrying a small shovel at your belt. And when you would sit down, you shall dig around, and then, with the soil that was dug up, you shall cover that from which you were relieved. For the Lord your God walks in the midst of your camp, in order to rescue you, and to deliver your enemies to you. And so, let your camp be holy, and let nothing filthy appear within it, lest he abandon you. You shall not deliver a servant who has fled to you to his master. He shall live with you in a place that pleases him, and he shall rest in one of your cities. You shall not grieve him. There shall be no prostitutes among the daughters of Israel, nor anyone among the sons of Israel who visits a prostitute. You shall not offer money from a prostitute, nor the price of a dog, in the house of the Lord your God, no matter what you may have vowed. For both of these are an abomination with the Lord your God. You shall not lend money, or grain, or anything else at all, to your brother at interest, but only to a foreigner. For you shall lend to your brother whatever he needs without interest, so that the Lord your God may bless you in all your works in the land, which you shall enter so as to possess it. When you have made a vow to the Lord your God, you shall not be late in paying it. For the Lord your God demands it. And if you delay, it shall be imputed to you as a sin. If you are not willing to make a promise, then it shall be without sin. But as soon as it has departed from your lips, you shall observe and do just as you have promised to the Lord your God and just as you have spoken by your own free will and with your own mouth. Upon entering your neighbor's vineyard, you may eat as many grapes as you please, but you may not carry any out with you. If you enter into your friend's grain field, you may break off the ears and rub them in your hand, but you may not reap them with a sickle. Deuteronomy 24. If a man takes a wife, and he has her, and she does not find favor before his eyes because of some vileness, then he shall write a bill of divorce, and he shall give it to her hand, and he shall dismiss her from his house. And when, having departed, she is married another, and if he likewise hates her, and has given her a bill of divorce, and has dismissed her from his house, or if indeed he has died, then the former husband cannot take her back as a wife, for she has been polluted and has become abominable in the sight of the Lord. Otherwise, you may cause your land, which the Lord your God will deliver to you as a possession, to sin. When a man has recently taken a wife, he shall not go out to war, nor shall any public office be enjoined upon him. Instead, he shall be free at home without guilt, so that for 1 year he may rejoice with his wife. You shall not accept an upper or lower millstone as collateral, for then he will have placed his life with you. If a man has been caught soliciting his brother among the sons of Israel, and selling him in order to receive a price, then he shall be put to death. And so shall you take away the evil from your midst. Observe diligently, lest you incur the wound of leprosy. But you shall do whatever the priests of the Levitical stock shall teach you to do, according to what I have instructed them. And you shall fulfill it carefully. Remember what the Lord your God did to Miriam, along the way, as you were departing from Egypt. When you require from your neighbor anything that he owes to you, you shall not enter into his house in order to take away the collateral. Instead, you shall stand outside, and he will carry out to you what he has. But if he is poor, then the collateral shall not remain with you through the night. Instead, you shall return it to him promptly, before the setting of the sun, so that, sleeping in his own garment, he may bless you, and you may have justice in the presence of the Lord your God. You shall not refuse the pay of the indigent and the poor, whether he is your brother, or he is a new arrival who dwells with you in the land and is within your gates. Instead, you shall pay him the price of his labor on the same day, before the setting of the sun. For he is poor, and with it he sustains his life. Otherwise, he may cry out against you to the Lord, and it would be charged to you as a sin. The father shall not be put to death on behalf of the sons, nor the sons on behalf of the fathers, but each one shall die for his own sin. You shall not pervert the judgment of the new arrival or the orphan, nor shall you take away the widow's garment as collateral. Remember that you served in Egypt, and that the Lord your God rescued you from there. Therefore, I am instructing you to act in this way. When you have reaped the grain in your field, and, having forgotten, you leave behind a sheaf, you shall not return to take it away. Instead, you shall permit the new arrival, and the orphan, and the widow to take it away, so that the Lord your God may bless you in all the works of your hands. If you have gathered the fruit of your olive trees, you shall not return in order to gather whatever may remain on the trees. Instead, you shall leave it behind for the new arrival, the orphan, and the widow. If you harvest the vintage of your vineyard, you shall not gather the remaining clusters. Instead, they shall fall to the use of the stranger, the orphan, and the widow. Remember that you also served in Egypt, and so, for this reason, I am instructing you to act in this way. Deuteronomy 25. If there is a case between persons, and they apply to the judges, they shall give the palm of justice to the one whom they perceive to be just, and they shall condemn of impiety the one who is impious. But if they see that the one who has sinned is worthy of stripes, they shall prostrate him and cause him to be beaten before them. According to the measure of the sin, so shall the measure of the stripes be. Even so, these shall not exceed the number of 40. Otherwise, your brother may depart, having been wounded shamefully before your eyes. You shall not muzzle an ox as it is treading out your crops in the field. When brothers are living together, and one of them dies without children, the wife of the deceased shall not marry another. Instead, his brother shall take her, and he shall raise up offspring for his brother. And the first son from her, he shall call by his brother's name, so that his name will not be abolished from Israel. But if he is not willing to take his brother's wife, who by law must go to him, the woman shall go to the gate of the city, and she shall call upon those greater by birth, and she shall say, "The brother of my husband is not willing to raise up his brother's name in Israel, nor will he join with me." And immediately, they shall summon him to be sent, and they shall question him. If he responds, "I am not willing to accept her as a wife," then the woman shall approach him in the sight of the elders, and she shall remove his shoe from his foot, and she shall spit in his face, and she shall say, "So shall it be done to the man who was not willing to build up his brother's house." And his name shall be called in Israel, the house of the unshod. If two men have a conflict between themselves, and one begins to do violence to the other, and if the other's wife, wanting to rescue her husband from the hand of the stronger one, extends her hand and grasps him by his private parts, then you shall cut off her hand. Neither shall you weep over her with any mercy. You shall not have differing weights, greater and lesser, in your bag. Neither shall there be in your house a greater and a lesser measure. You shall have a just and a true weight, and your measure shall be equal and true, so that you may live for a long time upon the land, which the Lord your God will give to you. For the Lord your God abominates him who does these things, and he loathes all injustice. Remember what Amalek did to you, along the way, when you were departing from Egypt. How he met you and cut down the stragglers of the troops, who were sitting down, exhausted, when you were consumed by hunger and hardship, and how he did not fear God. Therefore, when the Lord your God will give you rest, and you will have subdued all the surrounding nations, in the land which he has promised to you, you shall delete his name from under heaven. Take care not to forget this. Deuteronomy 26. And when you will have entered into the land which the Lord your God will give to you to possess, and when you will have obtained it and are living within it, you shall take the first of all your crops, and place them in a basket, and you shall travel to the place which the Lord your God will choose, so that his name may be invoked there. And you shall approach the priest who will be in those days, and you shall say to him, I profess this day, before the Lord your God, that I have entered into the land about which he swore to our fathers that he would give it to us. And the priest, taking up the basket from your hand, shall place it before the altar of the Lord your God. And you shall say, in the sight of the Lord your God, the Syrian pursued my father, who descended into Egypt, and he sojourned there in a very small number, and he increased into a great and strong nation and into an innumerable multitude. And the Egyptians afflicted us, and they persecuted us, imposing upon us the most grievous burdens. And we cried out to the Lord, the God of our fathers. He heard us, and he looked with favor upon our humiliation, and hardship, and distress. And he led us away from Egypt, with a strong hand and an outstretched arm, with a mighty terror, with signs and wonders. And he led us into this place, and he delivered to us the land flowing with milk and honey. And because of this, I now offer the first fruits of the land which the Lord has given to me, and you shall leave them in the sight of the Lord your God, and you shall adore the Lord your God. And you shall feast on all the good things which the Lord your God will give to you and to your house, you, and the Levite, and the new arrival who is with you. When you will have completed the tithing of all your crops, in the 3rd year of tithes, you shall give it to the Levite, and to the new arrival, and to the orphan, and to the widow, so that they may eat within your gates and be satisfied. And you shall say, in the sight of the Lord your God, I have taken what was sanctified from my house, and I have given it to the Levite, and to the new arrival, and to the orphan and the widow, just as you have commanded me. I have not transgressed your commandments, nor have I forgotten your precepts. I have not eaten from these things in my grief, nor have I separated them due to any kind of uncleanness, nor have I expended any of these things in funerals. I have obeyed the voice of the Lord my God, and I have done all things just as you have instructed me. Look with favor from your sanctuary and from your lofty habitation amid the heavens, and bless your people Israel and the land which you have given to us, just as you swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. Today the Lord your God has instructed you to carry out these commandments and judgments, and to keep and fulfill them, with all your heart and with all your soul. Today, you have chosen the Lord to be your God, so that you may walk in his ways, and keep his ceremonies and commandments and judgments, and obey his command. Today, the Lord has chosen you, so that you may be his particular people, just as he has spoken to you, and so that you may keep all his precepts. And so that he may cause you to be more exalted than all the nations which he has created, for the sake of his own praise and name and glory, in order that you may be a holy people for the Lord your God, just as he has spoken. Deuteronomy 27. Then Moses and the elders of Israel instructed the people, saying, Keep each commandment that I instruct to you this day. And when you have crossed over the Jordan, into the land which the Lord your God will give to you, you shall erect immense stones, and you shall coat them with plaster, so that you may be able to write upon them all the words of this law, when you have crossed the Jordan so as to enter into the land which the Lord your God will give to you, a land flowing with milk and honey, just as he swore to your fathers. Therefore, when you have crossed over the Jordan, erect the stones, just as I instruct you to do this day, on Mount Ebal. And you shall coat them with plaster. And you shall build, in that place, an altar to the Lord your God out of stones which have not been touched by iron, out of stones which have not been hewn or polished. And you shall offer holocausts on it to the Lord your God. And you shall immolate peace victims. And you shall eat and feast in that place, in the sight of the Lord your God. And you shall write upon the stones all the words of this law, plainly and clearly. And Moses and the priests of Levitical stock said to all of Israel, Attend and listen, O Israel. Today you have become the people of the Lord your God. You shall listen to his voice, and you shall do the commandments and justices, which I am entrusting to you. And Moses instructed the people in that day, saying, These shall stand upon Mount Gerizim, as a blessing to the people, when you have crossed the Jordan, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Joseph, and Benjamin. And in the opposite region, there shall stand upon Mount Ebal, as a curse, Reuben, Gad, and Asher, and Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. And the Levites shall pronounce and declare to all the men of Israel, with an exalted voice, Cursed be the man who makes a graven or molten idol, an abomination to the Lord, a work of the hands of its maker, and who puts it in a secret place. And all the people shall respond by saying, Amen. Cursed be he who does not honor his father and mother. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed be he who removes his neighbor's landmarks. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed be he who causes the blind to go astray on a journey. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed be he who subverts the judgment of the new arrival, the orphan, or the widow. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed be he who lies with his father's wife, and so exposes the covering of his bed. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed be he who lies with any beast. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed be he who lies with his sister, the daughter of his father, or of his mother. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed be he who lies with his mother-in-law. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed be he who secretly strikes down his neighbor. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed be he who accepts gifts in order to strike down the life of innocent blood. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed be he who does not remain in the words of this law, and does not carry them out in deed. And all the people shall say, Amen. Thank you for watching. If you like the content on this channel, please press subscribe, the like button or comment below. We'd love to get your tips. See you next time.